missing those golden days of arcades. When all it took was a few coins in your pocket to dive into hours of pure adrenaline. The shoot-'em-up genre never died. It just evolved, and today I'm going to prove it to you with 10 new shoot-'em-ups that will take you back to the arcade days. I'm Matthew, and we're starting the list with Neon Inferno, a game that promises to be an interesting addition to the shoot-'em-up genre, bringing a visually stunning experience with its neon color palette and intense special effects. The game is scheduled to be released on a wide range of platforms. The game's premise suggests a frantic and action-packed gameplay, where players will face waves of enemies and challenging bosses in futuristic urban environments. The gameplay of Neon Inferno involves classic shoot-'em-up mechanics, such as power-ups, multiple shots, and special abilities. Players will need to master their reflexes and strategic skills to survive the intense gunfights and defeat powerful bosses. The variety of platforms indicates that the developers are seeking to reach a wide audience, offering an optimized experience for each system. In addition to the intense action, Neon Inferno features an engaging story that immerses players in a vibrant and dangerous cyberpunk world. Players assume the role of a skilled pilot fighting against a corrupt corporation or an alien threat, unraveling secrets and revelations along the way. The narrative can be told through cutscenes, dialogues, and environmental elements, adding depth and context to the gaming experience. Terminator 2D No Fate brings the iconic franchise back to gaming with a nostalgic 2D approach, combining classic aesthetics with the futuristic theme of Terminator. Scheduled for release on Halloween 2025, this title will be available on the same platforms as Neon Inferno. The choice of a 2D style is a tribute to classic platform and action games, offering an experience that combines nostalgia with the futuristic theme of Terminator. Fans of the series can expect to find familiar elements, such as characters, weapons, and scenarios inspired by the films. The gameplay involves intense combat against machines and other enemies, with the possibility of reliving iconic moments from the franchise. Its availability on so many platforms ensures that a large number of players can experience this new vision of the Terminator universe. In addition to the intense action, Terminator 2D No Fate may feature an engaging story that follows the events of the films, exploring themes such as fate, free will, and the fight for survival. Players can take on the role of iconic characters like Sarah Connor or the Terminator himself, facing cybernetic threats and uncovering dark conspiracies. The narrative is told through cutscenes, dialogues, and environmental elements, adding depth and context to the gaming experience.
Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Sing your high line on the road.
R-Type Delta HD Boosted is a reinterpretation of a classic shoot-'em-up, bringing enhanced graphics and refined gameplay to modern platforms. This title promises to revive the challenging and strategic experience that made the R-Type series famous, now with high-definition visuals. Players can expect to find the classic elements of the series, such as the force ship, biomechanical enemies, and intricate stages. The graphics have been completely redone to make the most of the capabilities of modern consoles and PCs. Longtime fans and new players will have the opportunity to experience one of the most influential shoot-'em-up games of all time in its most refined form. In addition to enhanced graphics, R-Type Delta HD Boosted features new game mechanics such as power-ups, weapons, and special abilities. Players will need to master these new tools to face the ever-increasing challenges the game presents. The gameplay can be adjusted to offer a more accessible experience for new players without compromising the difficulty that made the series famous. The game's story can be expanded to offer more depth and context to the gaming experience. Players can learn more about the origin of the biomechanical enemies and humanity's fight against this threat. Overall, R-Type Delta appears to be a promising title that combines nostalgia, enhanced graphics, and refined gameplay. With its wide availability on various platforms and the possibility of new game mechanics, this game has the potential to please both longtime fans and new players. Shoot-'em-up lovers will certainly find R-Type Delta HD Boosted to be a challenging and rewarding experience. BPM Bitcrushed is a rhythmic roguelite action game developed by Awe Interactive, creators of BPM Bullets Per Minute, and published by Quali. Announced in August 2025 during the Future Games show at Gamescom, the game is set to be released in 2026 for all consoles and PC. Unlike its predecessor, which was an FPS, BPM Bitcrushed adopts a top-down perspective with a retro pixel art aesthetic inspired by games like Enter the Gungeon. The central premise revolves around synchronizing movements, such as shooting, jumping, and dodging, with the rhythm of the music, making timing as crucial as accuracy. The game combines dungeon crawler elements with roguelite mechanics, offering an intense experience where each battle is a deadly dance synchronized with the soundtrack. Players take on the role of fighters who explore procedurally generated dungeons, facing enemies that attack in sync with the music. The story seems to be light, with a focus on gameplay, but the mythological setting and pixelated aesthetic create an intriguing contrast between retro and epic, reinforced by the soundtrack that guides the action. The gameplay is centered on rhythm, requiring players to sync their actions, shots, jumps, and dodges, with the beat of the music. Enemies also follow this pattern, with attacks telegraphed in sync with the rhythm, transforming combat into lethal choreographies. In addition to firearms, the game includes melee weapons, increasing the variety of strategies. Grind Survivors is a roguelike action game developed by Pushka Studios, a Ukrainian studio, and published by Assemble Entertainment. Announced during the Gamescom Awesome Indies event on August 21, 2025, the game is scheduled for release in 2026 for PC and consoles, including PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. The title combines survivor-like, looter-shooter, and bullet hell elements, offering a frantic experience where players take on the role of armored demon hunters on a post-apocalyptic Earth devastated by demonic hordes. A playtest is already available on Steam, allowing players to experience the explosive combat and provide feedback for development. The gameplay of Grind Survivors is centered on facing endless waves of demonic enemies in various biomes, such as devastated cities, burning forests, and corrupted lands. Each match, or run, is marked by intense bullet hell-style combat, where players must dodge projectiles while using procedurally generated weapons with random attributes, affixes, and origins. The loot system is one of the game's pillars, allowing players to collect everything from cursed relics to demonic shotguns, with bonuses that can drastically change the playstyle. Furthermore, the game features an endless mode that tests players' builds in a never-ending escalation, ensuring high replayability.
And you're still not understanding. I've given you everything that you've been looking for. What else could I do?
Monsters Are Coming Rockin' Road is an action, survival, and strategy game developed by Ludogram and published by Raw Fury, with a planned release for fall 2025 on Steam for PC. This title combines tower defense, survivor-like, and roguelite elements, offering a unique experience where players control a mobile city that must be protected against incessant hordes of monsters. The central concept is to defend this moving city, called a fortress on wheels, as it crosses 4 distinct biomes, facing environmental challenges and increasingly difficult enemies. The gameplay is structured around 3 main pillars: fortifying, foraging, and fighting. On the fortification aspect, players build and upgrade districts in the city, choosing from defensive towers, such as archers, necromancers, or even fire-breathing dragons, to repel monster attacks. Foraging involves collecting resources like wood, stone, and gold, requiring the player in the role of a pawn to balance risk and reward by venturing off the safe path to obtain better materials. Combat, in turn, pits players against powerful bosses and environmental obstacles, requiring constant adaptation of strategies and the use of special weapons. Progression between matches allows for unlocking permanent upgrades for the pawn in the city, increasing replayability with new constructions and tactics. DarkSwarm is a top-down cooperative tactical shooter developed by Backfire Games, a Danish studio founded in 2022 and published by Ghost Ship Publishing, known for Deep Rock Galactic. DarkSwarm promises an intense and immersive experience in the cooperative genre, where up to 4 players take on the role of elite mercenaries on dangerous missions against an alien infestation called DarkSwarm. The game combines frantic action, class-based gameplay, procedurally generated maps, and semi-destructible environments, offering a unique approach to the tactical shooter genre. Set in a dark sci-fi universe, DarkSwarm immerses players in a world ravaged by intergalactic corporate wars, where unscrupulous corporations use nuclear and biological weapons to maintain dominance. The alien infestation DarkSwarm, possibly a byproduct of these disputes, threatens the outer colonies, and players, as synthetically enhanced mercenaries from the Death on Demand Corporation, are hired to face this threat in exchange for profit. The setting includes strange exoplanets and varied biomes such as the Desert of Tendril, a planet explored by corporations and infested with aliens. The narrative emphasizes the mercenaries' pragmatism, who do not fight for honor or ideals, but for rewards, with elements of gore, horror, and tension that are reminiscent of games like Helldivers and Alien Swarm.
Friends in DarkSwarm, the ultimate co-op, tactical, objective-based extraction shooter.
DarkSwarm. Wishlist now on Steam.
Morsels, from developer Furcula and published by Annapurna Interactive, is a top-down creature-collecting roguelite where players can switch between a rotating roster of playable characters at will. In the game, you play as a hungry mouse who finds a magical and sentient fatberg that teaches you to transform into a powerful little morsel. With your new powers, you set out into the dangerous upper worlds, where you fight against the oppressive forces of the cats and collect new morsels, strategically swapping as you go. Players can fight enemies using their rotating list of captured morsels, switching between them at any time. Each morsel has its own abilities and strengths and can be affected by ailments or boosted by power-ups and quirks. The game also has various hidden bonus levels with unique art styles and surprising gameplay twists. Morsels combines frantic action, an unmistakable art style, and an original approach. The game revolves around a real-time interchangeable character system, where the player can switch between the different morsels on their team, each with unique abilities to adapt to combat. Additionally, the game incorporates magical cards that allow for strategic transformations and evolve the roster of allies. Backfire is a shoot-'em-up that is in development for computers, and has an approach that caught my attention. The big difference is that you don't shoot forward like in most games of the genre, but backward instead. This backfire mechanic, which gives the game its name, serves both to attack enemies and to propel your ship. The reverse shooting mechanic forces the player to rethink their strategy. The ship is propelled in the opposite direction of the shot, so the player needs to use the shots intelligently to move through the scenario, dodge obstacles, and at the same time hit approaching enemies. The need to manage movement and attack with a single action. The shot adds a level of complexity and skill that can be a strong point in the game. Backfire's art direction is minimalist, with vibrant colors and a visual that is reminiscent of the most classic arcade games. The game adopts a retro graphic style, which matches the premise of a shoot-'em-up. This simple aesthetic can be a factor for the game's performance, as it does not require powerful hardware, which can broaden the audience that can play it. The title from Skid Studio also features power-ups and different types of enemies. The promise is that the player will face progressive challenges, with the need to adapt their strategy according to new threats. The stages are procedurally generated, which means that with each new match, the layouts will be different, which can contribute to replayability. Enter the Gungeon 2 is the long-awaited sequel to the acclaimed bullet hell roguelike Enter the Gungeon, developed by Dodge Roll and published by Devolver Digital. Unlike the first game, which used a pixelated 2D art style, Enter the Gungeon 2 adopts 3D graphics, while maintaining the isometric perspective, which represents a big visual change. The essence of the game, however, remains true to its roots, with procedurally generated dungeons, intense combat, and a vast range of weapons and items. The gameplay of Enter the Gungeon 2 maintains the core elements of the original, such as bullet hell combat, the dodge roll mechanic, and the exploration of dungeons filled with adorably dangerous enemies called Gundead. The sequel introduces new playable characters, as well as bringing back favorites from the first game, with a narrative centered on rescuing heroes trapped in the depths of the Gungeon. New weapons, enemies, passive and active items, blessings and curses expand the possibilities of combinations, allowing for creative and chaotic builds. The change to 3D also adds new physics, with dynamic interactions such as enemies being thrown into the air or into abysses, which promises to enrich the tactical and visual experience. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and until the next video.